Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, family. In the name of ABBA YAHWeh, and in the name of our soon-coming King, Yeshua HaMashiach. It's your beloved brother, ShaulYisrael. Coming back with another Shabbat message entitled The Ministry of Yahweh. The Ministry of Yahweh. Starting off in Luke chapter 11 and verse 49. Therefore also said the wisdom of Yahweh. Luke chapter 11 verse 49. Therefore also said the wisdom of Yahweh. I will send them prophets and apostles, and some of them they shall slay and persecute. Now let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12. First Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 12 First Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 28. First Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 28. And Yahweh has set some in the assembly, first apostles, secondary prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, government, diversity of tongues. And Yahweh has set some in the assembly, first apostles, secondary prophets, thirdly teachers, after that miracles, then gifts of healings, helps, government, diversity of tongues. Yahweh only sends, only authorizes, commissions to proclaim his gospel, the gospel that he revealed unto his son, Yeshua HaMashiach, apostles and prophets. Let me say it again. Yahweh only calls and sends men out as apostles and prophets. Yahweh in this season is revealing the full understanding of his ministry. The apostleship is authorized of Yahweh to generally oversee the assembly of Yahweh. The prophet is authorized to provide that warning and that direction to the assembly. But it is the apostleship that Yahweh vests with the authority to oversee his assembly. As in Matthew 28, Yeshua, our soon-coming King, commissioned men to make disciples of all nations and develop those disciples into his image and likeness. The purpose of the ministry is to make disciples and develop them into the image and likeness of Yeshua HaMashiach. Once men of a congregation had been properly discipled and developed into the image and likeness of Yeshua HaMashiach, then they can achieve their purpose in Yahweh, whether they may be called and sent themselves into the apostleship, they be called into the prophetship, or may be appointed by the apostle as an elder, which is a bishop, or a deacon. A lot of years I can really lack understanding of the ministry of Yahweh. Yahweh calls and sends apostles and prophets. Apostleship is not done away with. Like I said, the apostleship is authorized of Yahweh to proclaim the gospel. In order for a man to preach and teach the gospel of our King Yeshua HaMashiach, it must be revealed by Yahweh unto him. A lot of men, they have taken it upon themselves to try to proclaim the gospel of Yeshua HaMashiach. That's why they're in their handling of the gospel, they run into a lot of flaws and a lot of errors. As in Jeremiah chapter 2, as prophet Jeremiah says, I have not sent these prophets, but yet they ran. Have not spoken to them, yet they prophesied. Yet, if they have stood in the counsel of Yahweh, they should cause my people to hear my word, and should cause them to turn from the evil way and from the evil they're doing. A lot of men in the Israelite community have not been called and sent. They have sent themselves. They have self-appointed themselves. As I said before, the only two offices of ministry that are called and sent direct of Yahweh is the apostle and prophet. Elders, which is a bishop, is not called and sent of Yahweh. He's appointed by men, namely an apostle. Deacons is not called and sent of Yahweh. He's appointed, called and sent by men, namely an apostle. After the man has been nominated by the congregation, then man is laid upon him. But as per our the instruction, the set up our instruction by our beloved brother SHA'UL of Tarsus, the future apostles are instructed to lay hands suddenly on no man. Don't be too quick to ordain no man to the office of elder or deacon too quick. Like I said, first in the assembly is the apostleship. Instead of waiting on your calling, I mean, that took it upon themselves to go out and preach and teach the gospel. Like I said, the only two offices of ministry called sent Yahweh are apostles and prophets. Like I said, if a man has been chosen for ministry before the founding of the world, then Yahweh would reveal himself to him and send him out. And he will have results. The only two offices of ministry that are called and sent of Yahweh are the apostle and prophet. There must be in the assembly apostles and prophets. Because as I said before, the apostleship is the office that oversees the assembly. So go to Matthew 28:19. That's probably what the Israelite community now. Men or women are not properly discipled. And the reason for that, because look, they're not called and sent. 28 verse 18. And Yeshua came and spake unto them, saying, all power is given to me in Shamaim and in Eretz. Mean y'all has made Yeshua King and Messiah of the earth to come. Verse 19, go you therefore and teach all nations. To teach all nations is to make disciples. So the purpose of ministry, as I forestated, is to make disciples. In order for the disciples to be made, the gospel, the good news, the glad tidings, it must be preached and taught. It must be preached and taught in order for the disciples to be made. And those disciples must be developed into the image and likeness of Yeshua. I'm sure. Why? Because Yeshua is the second Adam. He's the image and likeness of Yahweh. He's the means of reconciliation, means to be reconciled to Yahweh. So the mission of the ministry is to make disciples. But in order for ministry to be qualified, Yahweh must call and send them. And ABBA YAHWEH only calls and sends apostles and prophets. He only calls and sends apostles and prophets. As before stated, the apostleship under the renewed covenant is first the assembly. I mean, it's given the office of the apostle is given authority to oversee the entire assembly. The prophet, second in the assembly, is given authority to provide that warning and that direction to the assembly. So like I said, the men who are called and sent. If a man is saying that he's called and sent of Yahweh, that he's called and sent, he's saying he's an apostle. Therefore, he's giving authority and revelation continually to rightly divide the word truth, to not have the scriptures contradicting themselves. Man saying that he's called and sent as a prophet, that he is giving revelation to give that warning, give that direction to the assembly. So like I said, the men that Yahweh called and sent are the apostles and prophets. ABBA YAHWEH do not call and send men as elders, which is bishops. Let me say it again, Yahweh do not call men out as elders and deacons. An elder is a bishop is an elder. Yahweh authorized an apostle to appoint qualified men as bishops. Yahweh grant authority to the apostle to appoint qualified men as deacons. There's no such office as evangelist, pastor, and teacher. Evangelist is a function of ministry. It's the function of ministry. The function of ministry is to make disciples. Pastor, teacher is the function of ministry. The function of ministry is to develop those disciples, to lead those disciples. There's only 4 offices in the assembly: the apostleship, the prophetship, the eldership, and the deaconship. Thank you, family. Love you, family. Pray for me, family. Shabbat shalom.